Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. And happy new year. This is like my first video for the year because it's been a while and I took a break so I can make like better videos for you guys, and I hope you guys like this one. Okay, so today my first video, this video is going to be about if you want to start a cake business, what are the 25 things you need? Yes, from baking to decorating. And I don't want to make this video too like stressful for you guys, so this is going to be for cream cake. So if you want to start with a cream cake, usually I advise people that want to start cake businesses to start with cream cakes because they're a lot easier to make, they're a lot faster, and they get more customers, and they are less likely to be messed up, basically, since you're a beginner. So if you're trying to start a cake business, it's 2022. These are the 25 things you're going to need. You're absolutely going to need. And I promise you, they're not expensive. If you have about $200, I promise you're ready to go. Okay, depending on what part of the world you live in. If you live in Eastern Europe, for example, things are not as expensive as like maybe in America, or depending on where you live, you really do not need that much money to start a cake business. So let's get started. Yeah, so 25 things that you're going to need to start a cake business, starting with cream cakes. I'm still going to make another video for fondant cakes. So the first thing is you are going to need an oven. Of course you're going to need an oven. So if you already live in a house that has an oven, for example, when I'm looking for houses, like if I want to move from one apartment to another, it has to have an oven. That way I don't have to bother myself about maybe buying an oven, because I can't move to a house that does not have an oven. So let's say, for example, you have an oven in your house. So you have to, this is my oven, for example, and it's an electric oven. So it can be gas, it can be electric. And if you do not have, and you don't have that much money, something you can do is buy those portable ovens that they sell. They're usually around maybe 50-liter ovens. Like you can keep them, they're kind of like the size of a microwave, just like a little bit bigger. The only problem would be like you can't bake too many cakes at once. You can only bake maybe like two 9-inch pans at a time. Number 2, you're going to be needing a mixer. Yes. So this is my, I don't know if you guys can see, this is my Kenwood mixer. This is like my 7th mixer I've ever bought, and that was because I was being an idiot. So I have a video on the kind of mixers you guys can buy and stuff that you won't waste your money, and you don't have to buy a new mixer every month, that is durable and really nice. So depending on how much you have, you can decide to buy a stand mixer, or you can decide to buy a hand mixer. So as not to like prolong this video too much, a safe brand to buy is Kenwood. I've had this mixer for almost 8 years now. I'm not even kidding you guys. And this one, I think I've had it for almost 2 years. It doesn't spoil. I'm not even kidding. So the first thing you're going to need is an oven, and then you're going to need a mixer. Depending on your budget, you can buy a stand mixer or a hand mixer. If you have enough money, just buy a stand mixer, and make sure you buy Kenwood. That's the only brand I can say, nobody's paying me for this, but that's the only brand I can say works. Number 3 is you're going to need a hand whisk. Like hand whisk are like less than $1. They're very cheap, and it's good if you buy the ones that like you can really grip well, because like batters can be thick, so you need like, depending on what flavor of cake you're baking, of course, batters can be quite thick, so you need like one that you can really grip well and that is big enough. So you can buy 2 sizes, a big one and a small one, or you can just buy one. I have just one, and when it spoils, like it spoils pretty fast. I don't know why. So when it spoils, buy another one. Easy. Number 4 that you're going to need is a measuring scale. Guys, you can't live without a measuring scale, and it uses batteries. This is the one you should buy. There are other ones that don't use batteries. I have this one. Yeah, I've had this one for almost 10 years. I hardly use it though, because it has a lot of debris on it. So buy this one that uses batteries. It measures really well, and it can measure in grams, it can measure in pounds, it can measure in mils, so you can measure both liquid and solid with it. So buy this one that is like a digital scale. Yeah, it's very cheap. I think this is about $6 or $7. It's about 200 grams in Ukraine. I don't know how much that is where you are, but they're usually very cheap. You won't spend a lot. And number 5, measuring cups. Yeah, I know I already said buy measuring scale, but you still need measuring cups. The reason is because they are fast and they make your life easier. I have several of them, and this is 1/4 of a cup. This is 1/3 of a cup. And the 1 cup is inside my flour container. That's because like you need to be able to measure, and you need it to be fast. And when you measure something, you want it to be leveled. You don't want like to fetch like a scoop with like, you know, overflowing. That's not a cup. It needs to be leveled. You understand? Yeah, so you're going to be needing measuring cups. They're very fast, they're very efficient, and they are very easy. Aside measuring cups, you're going to be needing measuring spoons. I bought some one time like that, but you really do not need fancy measuring spoons. You just need a tablespoon and a teaspoon, in my opinion. Just the regular ones you use in your kitchen is fine. For example, this is a tablespoon. And so when like a recipe calls for maybe a tablespoonful of sugar, a tablespoonful, a teaspoonful of sugar, a teaspoonful. So you really do not need like fancy stuff. So another thing you will need are round cake pans. So these are my round cake pans. I've had this one for almost 5 years, I think so. So this, you can buy the taller ones or you can buy the short ones. Yeah, the reason why I prefer the short ones is because you won't overfill it. You'll fill just the right amount and your cake would not be dry, because if you overbake because your batter is too much, your cake would be dry. So I advise you buy the flat ones and not buy the tall ones. Do you understand? Yes, the reason why I'm showing you this is so you can see the difference. See, don't buy these high ones, buy these short ones. They're very easy. And usually when I tell new bakers about baking pans, I tell them that when you want to buy a baking pan, for example, this is a 16 centimeter baking pan. When you buy this, buy two. Don't just buy one, buy two of this size. The reason is because when you want to make a regular size cake, it's one on top, one beneath and one on top. That way your cake is tall enough and you don't have to like bake it twice and bring it out and then bake another one. That way you buy two sizes, like one size but two different pans. For example, let's say you want to be making 8-inch and 10-inch cakes. That's what you want to start with, because I advise you to start with definite cakes. Do you understand? So you're going to buy two of this size and two of another size. Just make sure you don't buy one each, because that way your life will be a lot easier. Then square pans. Yeah, this is a square pan. They are taller square pans, but like I said, I prefer to buy the short ones, because that way you don't overfill your cake pan and that way your cakes won't be dry. So when you want to buy square pans, make sure you don't buy the ones that the bottom is removable. For example, this round pan, the bottom is removable. You can pull out this and remove the bottom. The reason why you don't want that for square cakes is because like they easily, like the sides of the cake should be intact, so it can be easy for you to frost. So when you're buying a square pan, make sure you buy the ones that are old, not like removable ones. Now sheet pans. Yeah, this is half a sheet pan. I don't know why in Ukraine it's very difficult to find a sheet pan. If you're in Ukraine and you found a sheet pan, please help me out. Like, I've been looking for sheet pans forever, but since I couldn't find a sheet pan, I make do with a half sheet pan. So what I do is I bake if I want to make like a cake, most times people don't make as wide as a sheet pan, they make half. So you cut a sheet pan into two and stack it. But you can also buy half a sheet pan or buy a sheet pan. So if you buy a sheet pan, that way it will be a lot easier. And if you have smaller cakes, you can just make a sheet and then cut it out from inside. The next thing we are going to be talking about are loaf tins. I've had these loaf tins for almost 8 years. I'm sorry guys, like they are old and raggedy. The reason why you need loaf tins is because if you're starting as a new cake decorator, like these are things that you can easily sell and sell really fast. Loaf cakes do not need decoration or anything. So make sure you buy loaf tins and push your loaf cakes. Take pictures of the cake, like banana breads and stuff, and put them on Instagram so people can see them and decide, oh, I want this, I might want to taste this. Those are like fast money makers for you. So loaf tins are important. Piping bags, guys. Piping bags for cream cakes. Remember, I told you guys that this video is just going to be for cream cakes. So this is a regular piping bag. These are nylon disposable piping bags. I love this one because you don't have to wash anything. All you have to do is snip the front, put your piping tips inside, and then pipe. And when you're done, throw it away. I love easy life. I don't like when like I have to wash stuff. This is a silicone piping bag. You can use it, yeah, with your piping tip as well. You have to like wash it when you're done and use it again. So piping bags are important, and I like advise you to buy these ones. Buy these ones. They're cheap. They're like $3. Yeah, they're cheap and they are nice. Okay, So piping tips, guys. Okay, so there are different kinds of piping tips, and I'm going to show you two different types. These are the regular piping tips. I don't know if you can see that. And these are the Russian piping tips. So when I say buy piping tips, don't just go to the store and buy that. Some people sell sets. There's like a set of 100 piping tips. It's a waste of money. Like, I feel like every baker buys them, but at the beginning of your baking journey, and then you realize that 90% of those things you're not going to use. So if you want to buy piping tips, let me give you example of the piping tips you should buy. Buy some washing tips, and also buy some of these large tips, because you're not going to be using those tiny tips. But you can buy 1M, you can buy 2D. Then you need a cake scraper. Guys, if you're going to be making cream cakes, you need a cake scraper. So there are different kinds of cake scrapers. For example, this is a metal one, and it is tall. I love this one because it is tall. Yeah, the only reason why I don't like this one is because the edge is curved. So when the edge is curved, it doesn't properly scrape your cake. This is an acrylic one. This is perfect because the edge is straight, so it scrapes your cake perfectly and it works perfectly. And this side is like a cake home, so this side scrapes your cake nicely, and this is like a cake home. Another one is this metal one that has a handle. This one actually is not a cake scraper. I bought it from a construction store because when I first got to Ukraine, I didn't know where to buy cake stuff, so I would walk into random stores and look for things that would be useful to me. So I just walked into one construction store, and then I bought this. I think it's for bricklayers. But there are cake scrapers that look exactly like this. I didn't know that then, but I was just looking for what would work. So the good thing about this is that it has a great handle, and it won't be slippery, especially when you're doing whipped cream cakes. So it is straight. It has a straight edge. Make sure you buy the one with a straight edge, something like this or something like this. And this is great because it has a great handle. The only problem is that it's not so tall. So if you can buy two different ones, that would be great. The next thing I want to talk about are cake homes. This is extremely important, yeah? So cake homes are like things that put patterns on your cake as you're scraping them. As you're scraping the cakes, these are plastic ones. This one comes in a set of 4. So, and they're very cheap actually. And these ones are like those ones, those small ones. They're not very useful, so don't buy these ones. I bought them because it looks fancy on Instagram, and then when I bought them, they were kind of useless. So buy these ones, or buy metal ones, or buy plastic ones are best though. Don't buy these acrylic ones. The reason why you need a cake home is because even if you are not perfect at frosting cakes, the sides of your cakes are not smooth. The cake home puts patterns on it that distract from the problem areas. Do you understand? Because when I first started my cake business, my hands were not stable, so there were a lot of blemishes on my cake, and the frosting wasn't smooth enough. So, but cake homes are perfect for beginners because it distracts from the blemishes because of the lines you're putting on your cake. So, I have a video on how to use cake homes for beginners. So I'm going to put the video right up here so you guys can click on it and see it. So muffin pans and muffin papers, guys. So let me show you this one. I'm kind of embarrassed to show you guys because it is old and raggedy. I've had these muffin pans for almost 8 years. These were one of the first things I bought. You need muffin pans, guys, because of course you need to be able to bake cupcakes and stuff. So, and you can bake banana muffins and things that are really fast to sell, like cupcakes and cake loaves. So you need to start with this, and they are very cheap. I think I bought each one then for about less than $5, and I bought one, and then I went back to buy another one. So if you're buying muffin pans, just buy one, because one can make you 12. Don't buy those ones that are 6. Those ones will waste your time, I promise you. Palette knives. So let me show you an example. This is a palette knife. These things they are bigger ones and they are smaller ones, yeah? And this is my favorite one. It is sturdy, it has a wooden handle, and then it's like an offset palette knife. Do you get? So you can use it to frost your cake, you can use it around the cake, on top of the cake, and it is smooth and nice, yeah? So you need a palette knife. It will be good if you buy 2 different sizes. Maybe this regular size, these ones are pretty common and they're very cheap, and a smaller one. Another thing you're going to need are serrated knives. So let me show you. For example, this, you need it to be long and you need it to be serrated. The reason is because when you cut your cake, when you slice your cake with it, these serrated knives make it a lot easier for you to slice your cakes without too many crumbs. They're like bread knives, but bigger. Basically, bread knives, bigger bread knives. Okay, so the next thing you're going to be needing are pastry brushes. So I have this one that I've had for over, like I've had it for almost 5 years now. I've had it for a long time. Some of these things you just have to buy them once and like they'll be with you. So make sure you buy the good ones. The expensive does not mean good. That's why I'm giving you like things to look out for when you buy them. So this one, basically, I just use it to maybe brush on gel or brush on some things on top of my cake. Or sometimes I use it like in form of a cake home. I have videos on my channel like that. So maybe I'm going to put one right up here. I'm not sure yet. Then you need a scissors, like not for anything cakey in particular, but just for, you know, regular stuff. Sometimes you need to cut your piping bag. Sometimes you need to cut your parchment paper for lining your cake pans, basically. So you need a scissors. A scissors always comes in handy. You need spatulas, guys. My baby sister is a spatula collector. She has up to 10 spatulas, different types. Okay, but I'm not. I just buy like regular ones that work. And what I found is when you want to buy spatulas and you want them to be useful to you, there are different types, yeah? If you buy the ones that have like acrylic bottom, they are slippery and they easily break. For example, this one. Number 2, when you buy these spatulas, they're all like silicone from top to bottom, like it's made of polymer from top to bottom. The plastic inside easily breaks, so it won't really be very useful for too long. That's exactly the same thing with this one, but this one is not broken. So, but they break easily and they can't hold too much load. My favorite are these ones that have wooden handles and they have like silicone heads. They are very durable. I've had this one for a long time. I don't know how many years. Like they are very durable. They hardly break and it is so nice and so sturdy. And this handle is really good because you know when you're making your cake and you're mixing batters, this like your hand gets wet, so like things easily get slippery. So wood is really great for you to hold. So when you're buying spatulas, buy the ones that have like wooden handles. Okay, so the next thing we'll be talking about are mixing bowls. So I don't have any fancy mixing bowls, just regular plastic bowls. Some people say buy stainless steel bowls and stuff. If you have the money to buy fancy things, you're good to go. But I just have regular bowls, regular plastic bowls, yeah. Just regular ones. They're not so special, but you need big, large bowls for you to be able to make your stuff. You're going to be needing cling film and parchment paper. This is parchment paper. The reason why you need parchment paper is that you use it to line your cake pans. Let me give you an example. For example, this is your round cake pan and you want to bake a cake. After spraying it with your non-stick or adding butter and flour to it, you want to cut some parchment paper. See? Scissors comes in handy for almost anything so that your cake does not stick. So I like to cut it in a round shape, the size of my cake pan. Yeah? And then line the bottom of your cake pan with this. That way, when you're done and you turn your cake over, the cake easily comes out and it doesn't stick. So that's what you need the parchment paper for. So let's say, for example, your cake is out of the oven, yeah, and you don't want it to dry out because cakes dry out really fast. So as long as it has cooled down a little and it is not going to fall apart when you lift it, you want to wrap it with some cling film. These are like very important for you to sell good cakes and not sell dry cakes to your customers. So you just want to wrap it and then put it in the fridge or in the freezer, depending on what you have available to you. So you need some parchment paper and you need some cling film. So these are like unimportant but very important. Most people don't tell you this. They just tell you to buy cake pans, buy spatulas and stuff. These are very important in your cake business. If you don't have this, it's almost as if you don't have a cake pan, because when you bake cakes, they are going to be dry because you can't leave your cake to cool out. Breeze will touch it. Cakes are like bread, like the more breeze touches it, the more it dries out. So the last and final one is you need a sieve. Let me show you guys. Do I have my sieve here? Okay, my sieve is not here, guys. But you know what a sieve is? Like when you have flour and you want to sieve it. Yeah, that. So the reason is because before you bake anything, whether you're baking cakes or you're baking bread or you're baking cookies or you're baking macarons, you want to sift your flour. The reason is because like it separates the particles of the flour and it aerates your baked goods and it makes it a lot lighter and nicer. Yeah. So guys, I'm going to be going over these things one by one again so you guys can remember the things I talked about. And I'm also going to still list it in the description box so you can just look at it and buy it. And aside that, I'm going to go online and check for the perfect ones for you guys to buy. I'm going to put the link in the description box for you. And I get the commission every time you buy stuff from that list. So I'm going to check for the perfect ones. For example, if you're going to buy the nice cake pans to buy, cake comb to buy and stuff. So I'm going to put the link in the description box for you guys. Let's go over this list again. So you're going to be needing an oven, a hand mixer, a hand base, a scale, measuring cups, measuring spoons, round cake pans, square cake pans, sheet pan, a loaf pan, a muffin pan, like 5 different pans. Yeah, that's what I've listed right now. Piping bags, piping tips. I'm going to put some links down below for you guys. A muffin pan, serrated knife, palette knife, pastry brush, scissors, spatulas, non-stick mat, mixing bowls, cling film, parchment paper, and a sieve. So that's all you're going to be needing to start a cream cake business. Yes. So for you to start a fondant cake business, I'm going to make a different video for you guys. So thank you guys so much. And that's all for this video. Please guys, if you don't watch this video, don't ask me, comment section. You can ask me. You forgive me. Thank you guys so much. And thank you for watching if you watched until this point. So I'm going to see you in my next tutorial. Bye.